Hi everyone, welcome back to A Life Well Spent, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Kelly, and on this channel we talk about money. I am documenting my financial journey, so as I am doing things with my money, as I am learning new things about my money, I will come and share them with you. And ultimately the goal of my channel, and so if this is something that is of interest to you, I'd love for you to subscribe, but the goal of my channel here is to spend my life the way I would like to spend it and to utilize my money in a way that lets me have the life that I want, travel how I want, when I want, frankly, retire when I feel like it. And, have that freedom that a budget, that having control of your money and spending intentionally can actually give you. So, that's the goal of this channel. If something like that is of interest to you, like I said, please subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of the community here. And without further ado, we'll get into what today's video is. So I will typically do a video where, sorry, I have like stray hairs that are itching my nose. And if you hear a ticking sound in the background, that's not a bomb. That's my toaster oven toasting some toast because I don't have a toaster. I just have that. There's not a ton of space in my kitchen. I kind of had to maximize, and a toaster oven does more things than a plain old toaster. So, and the toaster oven was free. It's from my parents. They were getting rid of theirs. So buy a toaster, get a free toaster oven. Easy enough. So in my budget, or on my channel anyway, I'll show you like what my, budget is going to look like for June, or well, for every month, but just did my June one. And then I will wrap up the previous month's budget. And you can sort of see in some of those videos the transaction log that I have. And I talked a little bit about it in my last video. So I thought it might be nice to show you guys, since it is the start of the month, bills have started being paid. I'm going to show you how, I have an alarm that's going to go off pretty soon. Just be aware, it's the Doctor Who theme. I'm going to try to catch it in time, but probably won't happen. Anyway, so I will show you kind of how that works and how I then track all of my spending so that I know how much I've spent and what I have left to spend in those categories. So this is my budget. Notice that kind of all the actual spending is gone. There's nothing in there. And then all of my percentages are all kind of like, these are 0%, but the incomes are kind of whacked because there's nothing, it can't divide by 0. There's nothing in there to divide. And what happens is when I put it over here in this register, these are designed so that once I choose the budget category and put the amount in, it automatically totals itself over here. So if I've made 16 trips to the grocery store in a month, yikes, but let's say I did, it would calculate and total up all of those 16 visits without me having to go in and kind of manually like add any of that up. So it seems like kind of tedious to type it all in. However, at one point, like I'm either going to have to write it down and add it up, or I'm going to have to, type it in and do it this way. And I find this to be easier. And if you're one of the paper and pencil budgeters, you might find it easier to do paper and pencil. I do not. That would drive me insane. I want to auto math when I can auto math. So anyway, especially since like I'm paranoid that like I'll accidentally like mistype something and I won't catch it because like I've had to add like 6 or 7 things together, and I'm trying to wait to see for this to go off. Oh no, it's going to go off in a minute. Okay. So what I will typically do, I will get my phone out and I will look at my banking app on my phone, and I will be able to look at everything that I have spent. I can do it too. Like if I've gone to a store and I have a receipt, I might do it then and there. But like for my bills, they're all like you paid through bill payer. So it will look something like this. Now I put a negative in here because I also track, let me type that in while I'm talking. Okay. And it shows up like this, so I know that it's money coming out, but I also track money coming in. So I want to make sure that it looks different, and the way the sum if function works, like I need to have it, I got to do it that way so that I can have both like positive money gets actually like added, and negative money gets added, but is registered as like money coming out instead. Got it. Just a little click. So it sounds kind of crazy. And if you want me to do a video where I go actually into more detail on how I actually set this up, like I'd be happy to do that. But, like the different functions and things like that. So, budget categories. Now I have a budget category in a drop down. Realistically, you could just type the category in. However, if you happen to misspell, you have a typo somewhere, you have an extra space like at the beginning or the end or something like that, it won't register as the same. It needs to be like the exact same as in the function. So it won't work if you do it that way. So what I kind of did is I just created a master list, and I used a different function to create the drop downs so that it's accurate. So anyway, so I go in here, I could start typing mortgage. Now notice as soon as I clicked enter after typing mortgage, it pops up in here because it auto adds for me. So that's awesome. And I will show you also what I got paid today. So let's say okay, when it's positive, it shows up as it's in the black. And now notice there's nothing that shows up over here yet, because the way the function works is it says, like, you know, if something is if this column has a specific category, then add what's in this column. So once I put the category in, it knows where to place it. It knows to add it. That was my toaster. So I'm going to pause. I'm back. That just looked like a quick cut to you, I know. It's funny because I was just thinking I should probably go over and check that, but it still needs a little bit more time, so it's going to go off again. Anyway, so that's kind of how that works. And then I do my account so I know like where the money went in or where the money came out of. And that's really more helpful for my sinking funds more than anything. But anyway, that's how I do that. I do have a note section if there's something that like I need to remember. You know, if I got surprise money that I wasn't expecting, like I might want to put a note on that and say, oh, this is what that money was, so that I'm aware. And so, yeah, so that's how this particular part works. And I like it for me because it helps me total up categories, but I'm a single woman, so I don't really have to like deal with anybody else in my budget. But I think that something like this could be really helpful for people who are in relationships or who have shared expenses, because I think that, you know, if I go to the grocery store and I like log my grocery spending, or, you know, I know in the back of my head, like, oh, I just spent $50 of the grocery money at the grocery store, my partner may not know that I've spent that money. And so they may think like, well, hey, we have this much more money, like we have this much left in our grocery budget, and I will, you know, there's a sale on meat and I'll just buy everything. And we end up blowing that category because they don't really know. Whereas here, if we come in and we track this every week, or I do it every couple of days usually. But like if it's been a really crazy, hectic, busy week, I definitely do it by the end of the week, on the weekend or something like that. I will make sure I take the time to do it. And I think that that would be really helpful for couples to know kind of what the other was spending in certain categories, so that they know, you know. And, you know, your partner might be at the store and might see like, hey, you know what, there's a great sale on chicken and we could really use some stocking up on chicken. I don't know if we have enough money in the budget to do that. And, you know, that maybe needs to be a conversation. But instead they can just look up the budget and be like, oh, actually, yeah, we're good. We got plenty. So, okay. So the other thing that I do, it's kind of hard for me to track my sinking funds in this. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, because if I talk about the money coming out of one checking account and into another, like it gets kind of screwy here. So especially because there's money that's always going in, but there's sometimes money coming out of that fund. Like my gift fund, I'm going to put $50 in, but I might spend 30 of it. So then like it doesn't know when to call it like actual money going in or spent money coming out. And there maybe is a way to do that, but I don't know how. I haven't figured that out yet. So right now what I just do is once the money transfers over, I just manually move that in so that I know. And I realized as I was doing this video that I did not set up the auto transfers to put those over there. So I'm going to get on that. Hopefully those will come out today. So that's it. That's a really quick rundown of, I'm actually going to pause quickly and go get my toast. Okay, I'm back. It was getting a little close there. I thought my toast was going to start burning, so I needed to go grab it quick. So, as a quick wrap up, that's how I budget. That's how not budget, but that's how I take care of my transactions so that I can track my spending within my budget. And I know, you know, how much money I have left to spend in a category so that I can keep myself as on track as possible. If you have any comments, any questions about what I do, or again, if you would like to see me, I can show you how I actually set this up with the functions and stuff like that. I'd be happy to do that. Just leave a comment, let me know. If you have any other way that you track your own spending, I'd love to know about it. This is something that's working for me now, but it might not be the best or most efficient way of doing it. When I started budgeting, I used EveryDollar, which I really loved. Like I went through Financial Peace University, which a lot of people have done. And, I actually got a lot out of the class, and I'm glad I took it. And, with the class comes EveryDollar, and it comes with like a free year of like EveryDollar premium. And I think I somehow got like 2 free years, and I don't really know how, but I kept expecting it to go away, and it told me that like it wasn't the paid version anymore, but like I could still do the transactions from my bank, which I really liked, because EveryDollar like will link to your bank. So every time you make a transaction, you just kind of like drag it to like the different categories or whatever, and it keeps a track of it that way. And I really did love that. However, EveryDollar is $129 a year. I don't want to spend $129 a year managing my finances if I can find a way to do it myself. And so far, this option right now through a spreadsheet has been the best for me, especially like doing, keeping track of transactions. So that's just what I'm gonna do at this point. But I'm certainly open to, if I wouldn't mind paying for it if it was something temporary. But considering I want to run a monthly budget for the rest of my life, I have hopefully a lot more years left, and I don't want to spend $130 every year to do it. So I'm trying to find an option that's going to work for me. Paper and pencil will not work for me. There's my mid-alarm. I have a series of alarms set, which you've seen in other videos, to make sure I get out of the house on time, because the more time I have, the longer it takes me to get out of the house, because I think I have time to do this and I have time to do that. So these series of alarms are like really make sure you're ready to go. That's my middle one. That's if you haven't gotten dressed yet, you better. So I've got another 12 minutes before I have to be out of the door. So anyway, but I would love to hear about, how other people are doing things, because I love to get ideas. I love to try new things out. You may I may find, somebody else's way of doing things actually works way better than what I've got, and, is maybe more simpler or something. I don't know. What I have is working right now. It is just me, so that makes life easier too. I would think like a spreadsheet on a Google Doc or something would be really great for couples too, because then everybody could have access to it in real time. But yeah, I don't know. Is this something that works for you guys? Like what do you use? And especially those of you in partners, like how are you having those conversations? How are you letting the other partner know, like, how much is in a category to spend, or don't you even have shared finances? You may not, who knows? Everybody makes their money choices differently. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope that this was a useful video anyway. And, the next video I'm probably going to be doing is my net worth update. But again, if you would like to see me, if you'd like to see an explanation as to how I set this budget up, with the formulas and stuff like that, I'd love to do that if that's something that interests people. So leave a comment, let me know. Also leave a comment to share what you use, what you budget with, and how you keep track of the money that you've spent. I'd love to hear everybody's approach there. And until next time, bye guys.